Welcome back to Girl at the Con. Thank you so much for joining me. I recently fell down and scraped my face, so it's going to be a while before I am camera ready. Since it's convention season, I thought it would be a good idea to start looking at the Comic-Con website, specifically the registration and member ID sections. So let's take a look. We're going to start at the Comic-Con website, which you can see here, and it's just the Comic-Con website. You're going to go over to Member ID, and from there that will take you to the Configo Comic-Con Member ID portal. You can either do login or create a new ID. If you do not have a new ID, I highly recommend getting one. It is very important. It's important to get a member ID because everything that you do will hinge on having this member ID if you want to buy a badge or anything. So you will go in, you will put in your member ID and just fill out everything in this form just like you would anything else. Selecting an age is important as well because there are discounts for youth and for senior citizens and military as well. Children 0 to 13 are free, and then there's a youth pass discount as well, just so that you can be aware. And this is essentially your bog standard sort of form. If you do have any questions on the form, you can always come here and it will explain everything to you in detail, such as letting you know that you can only have one member ID per person, how to fill out all of the registration forms, and understanding what you're running into. It is a typical FAQ sort of page and is going to have kind of the information that you need should you need more information, more detailed information. All in all, it is a pretty straightforward website. I find that everything is fairly clearly labeled and laid out so that you should be able to find it. If you are going to be buying tickets for Comic-Con during one of the pools, then you really need to have this stuff filled out ahead of time because it will make that process so much quicker and ensure that you get the tickets that you're trying to get. It's also important to have this in case you want to do anything else, such as giveaways or any raffles that you want to sign up for during the convention. Once you have your member ID set up, you can come back out here to the welcome page and you can go into the sign in section and manage your entire account. We of course will be using my account. This is a pretty basic layout. As you can see, everything here, we're going to have everything on this dashboard here. It's going to have your name, your member ID, and some various information here. I've got it blurred out because it's my information. And then you have everything on the side that you're going to need. So if you go over to notifications, you'll notice it doesn't have anything, but this is where they would send you a notification if they need you to fill out a form or if there's something missing that they need for whatever reason. This also might be where they're going to let you know if you've won raffles and anything like that. It's any notification that they feel that is important for you or anybody else is going to end up here. The next place that we're going to go over to is going to be the My Orders. This will show you all of your past orders. You can see my past orders here. And then you have My Addresses, which is if you order tickets, this is how Comic-Con is going to send you your badge. You do not pick it up in person per se. You will get sent a box or other information depending on how they do that for each year, and that's why your address is important for them to have. You might have multiple addresses, you might not. The next step down is going to be your credit card. You would save your credit card here. You can delete it at any time, but you would save it here for when you go to buy tickets or anything else through the website. It makes it much quicker. Guarantees you're not going to lose that ticket during the pre-sales or anything like that. I don't, of course, have a credit card in here because I typically either volunteer or I go and host a panel. I highly recommend volunteering, by the way. So, but from here we can see account management, which has a lot of how Comic-Con can contact you and whether or not you want to be on any marketing or anything. I have some people that were registered under me, which is why I can show whether or not they have marketing. If you have people registered under you, such as children and such, you would see them here. And then, of course, you have the account settings, which is just going to be your dashboard and your My Badges. The badges are just going to be your badge history. If you have that, the closer we get to Comic-Con, or if you've bought any tickets, My Badges would show those badges that you have. And then press application. Press application is currently closed, but up here where press application is also where volunteers tabs would be and your pros tabs would be, because those both require applications. So you would click on them just like you do this one, and it would show an application. You would be taken to a website where you would have an application for you to fill out or to do any of the stuff that they require for those, because pros do need to be vetted, and you do need to sort of be vetted for volunteering, but it's more just to get your information. And as you can see here, press is currently closed, but it does have a place for an ID code. This is similar to purchase codes that some staff members get, where you would put in the code and it would allow you to go through the process. And it's just like buying a badge. So you would go through the process, select the member ID, your name. It would fill in everything automatically, and then you would see it on the side of the page, where you could then make sure everything is in order before going over to checkout and trying to check out. Right now, if you don't have that, you're going to get this error message that's just going to say you can't do that. But of course, you can always go to help if you're having a problem, and you shouldn't be having a problem, or you can contact whoever gave you the code. But it works very similar, as I said, to how you would purchase a badge, which we will get to. And I really recommend volunteering, because volunteering is honestly the best way to get into the convention for free. You just work 4 hours. I think it's 4 hours a day. It might be 3 hours a day, and then you get your badge. And privacy policies, all of that is in the help and frequently asked questions in case you're having trouble with something or you don't understand something. But I feel like this page is fairly straightforward, and if you do need any help, the convention is there for you. On to buying tickets. I did this for a friend of mine not too long ago because she had to work that day. I did all of this recording on my phone of my laptop, just so that you understand the quality of what's going on here. If you bought a badge the prior year, there's a code on your badge that allows you to enter the pre-sale. And when you do this, you come onto the website, you go into Configo, and you log in with your member ID, and you will see where to enter all of that. When you come in, as it would start at 9 o'clock as it did here, and I was several minutes early, so I'm sitting in a pre-queue waiting for the queue to start. Once it starts, then you move on to whether or not you are selected, and that is done by a random lottery. It's not first come, first serve. You could be getting in, 2 minutes after 9 o'clock, and you could get a badge before somebody who got in, say, 20 minutes. Once the buying time hits 9 o'clock, then everybody is sorted based on a random number, as I mentioned, into then another queue. And you get this bar across the top of the screen. This indicates where you are in line. So obviously people who got the luck of the draw and they were the first in line, their queue automatically jumps to the end. And once you get to the end, it says, hey, you're next in line. And then you just go through the process of buying a ticket. If you leave the queue for any reason, such as your computer crashes or the internet goes out, then you will lose your place in line. So it is very good to stay in line as much as you possibly can until you get that chime and the bird comes all the way to the end. My one tip for buying that I have seen work several times is 1, to get there early, and 2, to kind of work with other people. If you have friends that also want to go, have them get in at the exact same time, and then whoever gets in first buys the tickets. That way you're more likely to be guaranteed to get the tickets for the days that you want, or all of the days, if that is what you want. I hope that this helps you in your buying process and navigating the website and understanding why you need to get a member ID. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you in the next one.